At some point in your life, someone looked at you and decided who you were, not because they truly knew you, but because they thought they did. Maybe they said it out loud, maybe they didn't, but the moment they doubted you, something dangerous happened. You started listening. And if you're honest with yourself, a part of you is still living under a ceiling that was never meant to be there. Let me tell you a story. In a small American town that most people pass without noticing, there lived a man named Ethan Carter. Nothing about him looked special. He didn't grow up with money. He didn't have connections. He wasn't the loudest in the room or the smartest kid in class. In fact, teachers often wrote the same sentence on his report cards year after year. Has potential, but lacks direction. By the time Ethan was 16, that sentence felt like a verdict. Potential that never turns into action slowly becomes a burden. It starts to feel like a lie people tell you to be polite. Ethan worked part-time at a grocery store after school. Every evening, he watched customers come and go, people in suits, uniforms, work boots, each one living a life he couldn't imagine for himself. And deep down, he believed what the world had been quietly telling him. People like you don't escape this town. When graduation came, most of his classmates left for college. Ethan stayed, not because he didn't dream, but because dreaming without belief feels irresponsible. So he worked, and then he worked some more. Years passed, same town, same roads, same doubts. Until one night, everything changed, not because something dramatic happened, but because something honest did. Ethan was closing the store late, mopping the floor under flickering lights. His body was tired, but his mind was louder than ever. And suddenly, a thought hit him with uncomfortable clarity. This can't be the whole story. Not, I deserve more. Not, life is unfair. Just this simple, powerful realization. If nothing changes, nothing changes. That night, Ethan went home and did something he hadn't done in years. He wrote. Not a business plan, not goals, just a letter to himself. He wrote down everything he was afraid to admit. That he was scared of failing. That he was scared of looking stupid. That he was scared of trying and discovering everyone else was right about him. But then, at the bottom of the page, he wrote one sentence. I would rather struggle chasing something meaningful than stay comfortable hating my own life. That sentence became his turning point. The next morning, nothing looked different. Same alarm, same town, same job. But Ethan was different. He started waking up an hour earlier, not because he was motivated, but because he was tired of being disappointed in himself. He began learning, slowly, quietly. Reading, watching lectures, practicing skills no one around him cared about. No applause, no validation, just progress that only he could see. People noticed he was changing, and not in a supportive way. Friends joked, "What are you trying to be now?" Family said, "Be realistic." Coworkers laughed, "Don't get your hopes up." But here's the truth no one tells you. When you outgrow the version of yourself people are comfortable with, they will try to pull you back. Ethan didn't argue. He didn't explain. He just kept going. Months turned into years. Failures stacked up. Rejections came in waves. There were nights he stared at the ceiling, wondering if he was wasting his life chasing an illusion. Moments where quitting felt logical. But he remembered something crucial. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. Eventually, one opportunity came. Not a miracle, not overnight success, just a door slightly open. Ethan stepped through. And step by step, his life began to change. Not because he became fearless, but because he learned something most people never do. Confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you earn through action. Years later, Ethan returned to that same town, same grocery store, same flickering lights. But this time, he walked in as someone who had proven something to himself. Not that he was special, not that he was better, but that he was capable. And that changed everything. Here's why this story matters to you. Because somewhere right now, you are standing at the same invisible crossroads. You don't need a new year. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect timing. You need one honest decision. To stop living according to the limits others placed on you. To stop negotiating with your doubts. To stop waiting to feel ready. The version of you that succeeds isn't braver than you. They just refuse to quit when it gets uncomfortable. So if you feel stuck, if you feel behind, if you feel like your life is smaller than your potential, good. That discomfort is not a sign of failure. It's a signal that the story isn't over yet. And the next chapter? That's written by what you choose to do after this moment.